You probably heard the phrase, break it down to its most basic shape or form. It sounds simple, but how do you actually do it? They say a circle, triangle, or a square, and maybe sometimes a cylinder, pyramid, or a box is all you need to draw anything. And I do agree with that idea, because I recently tried drawing things that I have never drawn before, and the way I approached each drawing was to break it down to its basic shape. Today, I will show how I observe things I'm going to draw and how I break things down to be able to draw them. I'll start by saying it is very important to know how to draw the shapes I mentioned at the beginning of the video. A circle, triangle, or a square. I guess not just the 2D version, but also the 3D version, like a cylinder, sphere, a box, and a pyramid. It's very important to know how to draw these shapes in different angles because a lot of the time, the subject that you want to draw has that shape but in a different angle. An exercise I love doing to practice this, I create a drawing table for each shape in 3-dimensional and I just draw each shape in different angles without any details. I think about if I'm looking at this shape from this angle, how does it look? And if I have any trouble, I just look at reference photo. Either I search it online or use things around me. These are pretty common shape, so anything can be used as a reference. Once you understand how to break things down just by looking at it, you'll realize that everything around you is made out of this shape. It doesn't really matter how complicated something looks, it is still made out of these shapes. When you see this, what do you see? It does look complicated. For me, when I see it, I don't see just a hand, but I see a bunch of shapes joined together. Does that make sense? Let me show you by breaking it down into its basic shape. I'll start by identifying the largest shape that I see. I'm not worried too much about the detail, I just want to see the overall form or shape of my hand. And once I have that, then I'll slowly work my way down to the smaller shape and then the next smaller shape until I have enough to use as a guide to actually draw the details. Drawing a hand is considered to be one of the hardest things to draw, and what helped me understand drawing a hand better, it's not by drawing each finger as just a line. Honestly, when I was still learning, I get so confused when trying to figure out how that works. And once I start looking at things that I draw as a shape instead, I start to imagine the segment of the finger as a cylinder, and sometimes it actually helps me with the proportions as well. Basically, I just draw what I see, but in a shape form. It doesn't need to be perfect at the start because this is just gonna be a starting point of my drawing. Then I add the details once I'm confident enough that I have the form to help guide me with my drawing. An exercise that I do to practice my observation is tracing a reference photo, but not tracing it one-to-one, exactly like the picture, but tracing the basic shape that I see in each photo, just like this. And then I'm trying to recreate the drawing by drawing the shapes that I just drew beside it. Then I add the details to finish the drawing. I also like to time myself when I do this exercise because if I don't, I ended up spending way too much time on each drawing, and I don't want that because my goal is to identify the shape and train my observation. And if I spend too much time drawing one subject, I'll start focusing on the detail. Once you train your observation to be able to break things down into its basic shape, drawing can actually be a lot of fun and a lot easier